Recognized for 5 minutes.
For almost 100% of the people who would go to jail if this bill is enacted, they are not criminals and have no brush with the law. They were people who lived here for years, who had no chance of coming legally in the first place and no way to get legal once they were here. Most have lived here for 10, 20, 30 years. They live in families with children, and their children are citizens of the United States, just like you and me and our children. They have mortgages and car notes. The problems these moms and dads are trying to solve is if they get deported, is how do I make sure my kids are safe in the country in which they were born, the United States? How do I keep a roof over their head and get them ready for school? How do I keep my business open or my career continuing in the U.S. where I have lived in some cases for decades? That is the problem they have, and guess what? They come back after they are deported. That person, to me, is not a felon, never committed a crime. That person's not a hardened criminal, never killed anyone. That is a fighting parent for their family. So, in painting a picture for all immigrants as resembling a career criminal like the guy who killed Kate Steinle, Republicans are doing the old bait and switch. The people we are hitting with this bill come back to the lives they have built over decades by the only means we have made available. And now we're going to add a felony and 15 years to that. Let's give moms and dads different alternatives. The people who would go to jail if this bill were enacted would rather have come with a visa. They'd get in line for hours to get legal if there were a line to get in. But there isn't. And most Americans believe we should create such a line for them. They would come back legally if they could, but they can't. We should be looking at how to solve that problem. We should be looking at ways to eliminate illegal immigration and stop hoping that our strategy of the last 30 years of deportation and more restriction and more criminalization will somehow miraculously start working. It hasn't. It won't. It's time for us to enact comprehensive immigration reform in the Congress and fulfill our responsibility to the nation. Look, the question today isn't whether or not this bill is going to pass. It's going to pass. The Republicans are making it a primary purpose. The question really for me, are Democrats going to participate? Are Democrats going to participate in allowing this to pass? And I just got to say, I know it's difficult. Some people say, well, I might not come back. It'll be difficult. My constituents demand this. Well, let me just say that when I was elected in 1986 to the Chicago City Council, I was there but a month. And they had the human rights bill for the gay and lesbian community. And I remember the banner headlines, Cardinal says no. Here I was, a Catholic all my life, altar boy. Had 3 of the 7 Catholic rights: communion, baptism, marriage. 10 years later, I got to the Congress and was confronted here with the Defense of Marriage Act. And we passed it. There were only about 70 of us that voted against it. But guess what? 30 years after I took that vote for gay rights in the Chicago City Council, the Supreme Court said that marriage equality was the law of the land and discriminating against them was against the Constitution of the United States of America. That's the way you create social justice. Not by doing a poll, not by trying to figure out what the next election consequences are going to be. And I say to my Democratic colleagues, stand up for social justice today. It wasn't easy as a Democrat to stand up for reproductive rights for women. I remember going to church, and I remember being chastised by the priest. I remember being bowed by some of the congregants as I left that church. But I stood up for what I believe were women's rights. My children were chased down the street during Halloween by pro-choice people who said I didn't deserve to be in trick-or-treating with my children, that I was a bad father, I was a murderer. We stood up, and women have rights in this country. That is the way we do that. Democrats, we stand up for what is right. We don't take a poll. We don't think of the next election. We do what is right. The immigrant community is looking for champions today. And it is my hope that as Democrats, we too will stand up. When hate visits you, you need to repudiate it. You need to repudiate it because that hate might visit you in some personal way. And it might cause you to hate yourself, ultimately. I return the balance of my time to the minority, and ask unanimous consent, Mr. Speaker, that the statement of the, in opposition to the bill, of the Tahiri Justice Center opposing the bill be entered into the record. Human rights first, American ideals and universal values be entered into the record in opposition to the bill. Cities for Action be entered into the bill, a letter opposing the bill. Committee on Migration of the Catholic Charities of the USA be entered into the bill. Friends Committee on National Legislation, the Quakers bill against the bill presented. The Network Lobby for Catholic Social Justice be entered into the bill. I ask unanimous consent that those letters be entered into the bill against the bill, and I return the balance of my time.
Without objection. Gentlemen.